Oduwacoin, Proof of Stake Mining 101. How does staking on Oduwacoin network work? What is staking? Oduwacoin, or Bitcoin, holds the promise of sending money digitally without any central authority. The solution to managing a ledger of transactions that are not controlled by any entity is done through mining. Mining is committing electricity to run a competing computer to solve a mathematical problem no one can guess for reward by determining the next block. Known as proof of work, POW, consensus mechanism. POW is a very capital intensive and requires wasteful electricity. There are other efficient alternatives for solving the same problem. One of these options is the proof of stake, meaning instead of committing electricity to run computers and try to win a contest, people will stake actual coins. How does this work? Well, you lock a certain amount of Oduwacoin on an everyday computer connected to the network, and the computer is called the node, and your locked Oduwacoin is your stake. Once your stake is in place, you participate in the contest of which the node gets to forge the next block. You see, stakers forge blocks. They don't mine them. Proof of stake is a term used to refer to the concept in which a user is chosen to validate blocks on the Oduwacoin network based on the amount of Oduwacoin they've staked. To better understand POS, let's first review some meaningful context related to how and why POS is used. Oduwacoin networks require transaction processors. Oduwacoin platform requires that transactions on their network be verified. These transactions are grouped in blocks, which have to be validated. Unlike the traditional financial system where normally a bank serves as a trusted intermediary or third party to verify and process transactions, digital currencies rely on their network participants to validate transactions, registering transactions on the blockchain. When a transaction is registered on a blockchain network, its data is transferred to a block, which has capacities ranging from 1 megabyte. After a set of transactions are placed inside a block, they are copied over to all the nodes, aka computers, participating on Oduwa network. These nodes can be described as the administrators of the blockchain because they determine whether or not transactions being broadcasted on the network are legitimate. If and when a block of transaction is validated, it's permanently recorded on an immutable distributed ledger called the blockchain. So what exactly is proof of stake? POS. POS is a system of consensus mechanism in which users of a network have to stake some portion of their Oduwacoin to have a chance at forging the next block. Once a user is selected to validate a block and can accurately verify all transactions in that block, they are rewarded a certain amount of Oduwacoin for their work. A user who verifies transactions is called a miner, a forger on a network. Miners selected via two-stage process. In the Oduwacoin system, a miner is chosen via a two-stage pseudo-random process. When selecting miners to verify transactions, the main thing that is considered is whether they have a stake in the network. If they have staked their Oduwacoin, then the amount of their stake is also used to determine their eligibility to validate blocks so that no single entity will gain a monopoly over forging. A user's staked amount must be locked in, which means they cannot withdraw or move funds at any time to have a chance at being selected to validate a block. Miners who stake larger amounts will have a greater chance of being chosen to verify transactions. Validators rewarded with newly minted Oduwacoin. Oduwacoin network compensates miners for verifying transactions in a block with newly minted Oduwacoin for the transactions they verify. The ecosystem is expected to mint 6 million coins in the next 10 to 15 years to reach a maximum of 21 million. It would seem that miners may control the network with large amounts of Oduwacoin. However, this is not necessarily the case because the second part of the pseudo-random process selecting a miner is to give preference based on the coin age selection or randomized block selection. Randomized block and coin age selection is a system used to randomize block selection, giving preference to users with one of the largest stake amounts and one of the lowest hash values. Meanwhile, The coin age selection method selects miners by determining the duration of time each user has staked their Oduwacoins. Users who have staked for the longest period are then chosen to be miners. Oduwacoin POS system have fixed coin supply. Oduwacoin has a fixed or maximum amount of cryptocurrency that have already been set on the protocol to 21 million, with fractions to 8 decimal when it comes to their first launch. This means no additional coins are minted afterwards when 21 million is reached, but the coin value can increase. Why use proof of stake? The main advantage of using a POS system is that it's energy efficient. No mining process is involved, which consumes much power and resources, electricity, unlike mining Bitcoin. Another potential benefit of using a POS system is that it significantly decreases the chance of a 51% attack, in which a certain group of entities take control of the majority of a blockchain network, hashing, computing, power, and then try to use it for personal gains. Miners, Oduwacoin nodes, and a POS system are highly discouraged from launching a 51% attack because they would have to risk losing their entire staked amount. It is also possible that many miners in a Bitcoin system can work effectively by forming a mining pool to take control of the majority, or 51%, of a blockchain network. This can turn into a type of centralized threat because rewards tend to go up exponentially, whereas in POS networks, there's always a linear increase in rewards. Users on a POS will only have up to twice as much control if they invest or stake 2 times the amount of another user. On the other hand, a user on a POW network who has Bitcoin network twice as much as another user will have exponentially greater control. Enjoy staking. Unlock your wallet and stake all your coins. Oduwacoin University.